Okay, people. So today is what? September 19th, 2017. So what I'm going to do here, like I said, I'm going to try and make a tomato soup, only I want it creamy with cream. That's my goal. Now, I haven't looked at any recipes, to be honest with you people. I don't normally, I can't say I make tomato soup, so I really don't know how. So this is the way I'm going to do it today. I'm going to take this little chopped onion that came from my garden. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to run it through so it becomes very, very minced. In addition to with this garlic that was in my, what do you call it? Fermented pickles, which I have now transferred into jars. And if you notice, people, and of course, yes, when it was in the crock pot, it started to get that yeast growth again. What I found is further down into the crock pot, the cucumbers were much more crisper, whereas further up, they start to deteriorate and they kind of turn into mush. But they're still tasty, and you can still eat them with your meals or put them in like a salad dressing or something like that. But in terms of the one with the lid, if you notice, people, there's absolutely no yeast growth because they can't get in there through the air, right? Because there's no way for it to get in because of the seal. So what I'm going to do is I've got this, and I want another garlic. So I'm going to take the garlic. I'm going to put that much and that much pepper. Hold on. Okay, so I did the onion with the red pepper separately in here. I had to put a little bit of garlic and the red pepper in here with a little bit of water in order for it to get, like very mincy, right? Did the onion separate. Now I'm going to do this. Okay, so this is where I'm at right now. Just remember, people, the vitamins are mostly in the skin. And since I'm a little short on this, I'm going to take a little bit from here, do the same thing, and put it in there. What this is the fourth jar, what I canned the other night that didn't seal for whatever reason. Okay, so I took one of these little, I don't know what they're called, but they're little blender things, right? And I did that, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some whipping cream in here. I'm going to stir it down, well, stir it in. I'm going to add some salt. Right, just some nice sea salt and a little bit of this, just a very little bit because it has its own taste. This is the salt from India, so I don't want it to overwhelm what I'm doing here, so about that much. Hold on. So, and a little bit of sugar because the sugar takes out the acidity, right? So that's about a teaspoon, and a little bit more cream. And then you just taste it. Now I'm going to turn it back on. Hold on a minute. There it is with a bit of paprika and a couple of egg sandwiches. Okay, people. So it's September 20th, 2017. Hold on a minute. Let's just zoom this in just a little more. Move that like that. And my cat just came on the chair. Oh. Yeah, okay. So anyway, okay, now that the storm is over, in terms of the drama that's been going on in my life and my family's life, it's just a matter of tightening down the sails, checking the bow, that kind of stuff, because I still live in a leaky boat, people. Right? But it's one of those situations, a leaky boat is better than no boat. And this is not a bad boat. So, to get to the gist of it, I'm going to call this one Andre's Homeschooling Experience. I think that would be a good title. Because now that the cat is out of the bag, not that it's ever been in the bag, right? I feel like I can speak more freely about my grandson homeschooling in terms of bringing it to the public in light of the GMOers the ones that gang stalk and harass me and my channel and my family on multiple levels, right? In combination to perhaps either jealous and spiteful neighbors, right? Because some neighbors that I live with in this neighborhood I get along with, and other ones not so much, for whatever reason. Because I pretty much keep to myself, people, right? I keep my nose to the grind, as they would say. And anyway, I'm kind of tired, right? So it's not something that I've really talked about on YouTube too much, for the simple fact of, you know, there are people out there that just want to cause trouble for whatever reason. Now, the social workers came over today, right? And one of them had been here before, the last time, with Andre with the knee, where my neighbors next door over there, and then ran off to the cop shop and proceeded to call social services because Andre had a disinfectant put on his knee that made him scream, and because I was outside working at the time when it happened, and I went to the window and I'm like, what's going on? And because, you know, there was several adults and other people downstairs, and I got the gist of the story, and I, you know, it was confirmed that he was screaming because, you know, his wart that had just been burned off at the doctor's office with the freezing agent had a disinfectant put on it that he didn't like, and he screamed. Well, that was enough for the neighbor, like I said, to jump in their boogie van and run to the cop shop and, you know, and call social services, because at the end of the day, people, let me tell you something. The owner of that house next door, okay, has already spoken in the past to my landlord for whatever reason, and told my landlord to kick me out and that he would get better tenants in. Hold on a minute.
Yes, there we go. That was easy. Easy peasy. Time's going fast. I'm gonna get the brown. I get this one. Thank you. No! Aw, man. Come on. Next. Oh, there it is. I need to get that. Like that. Go, 1, 2, 3, go. Another one. That was easy. Yes. Now I got this. Don't fall in the wall, Hey, wait, that was a close one. Darn it. 2. This is easy. Yes. The phone. I go 1, 2, 3, go. Yes. Man. All the same frames, Cloud. This might. Oh, that's better. Pizza. Wait, I need to the big sun. Get it. Uh-oh. That's too hot.
That's right, it is. That's the greenhouse effect.
What happens if you put a pizza?
It overcooks. That's not what we want for the planet.
Nope. So let's go like that. Let's try this one. No.
Still too hot.
No, watch. Oh, look, 2 went up and 1 went.
Oh, some went out. That's right.
Huh?
So let's see if it's too hot for the pizza still.
Oh, it froze it up.
Oh, it didn't burn, so that's not so bad.
So let's try this. Let's try that one. See this one.
Okay, people, so this is September 21st, 2017. I'm getting underneath this cupboard, pulling everything out, at least from the bottom. And then I'll probably at some point start out the top. But I have my canned meat in there from back in the day. And that's where I'm going to put my pickles. Hold on. Okay, so what I've done is I've pulled out the bottom shelf. I put these on the bottom in that shelf there, cupboard, people, because it stays cold. But I have to hide the pickles, because if I don't hide the pickles, right, you know, they're going to get eaten up real fast. And that kind of makes me mad, right, when that happens. So anyway, as you can see, April 2015. This is beef, August 2013. This is turkey, 2014. Now, every now and then, my son will grab a couple of these and he will eat them. Okay? So, what I'm going to do is I'm pulling these out. I'm going to put the pickles where that is. As you can see, this is why I normally don't go to the food bank. If I go to the food bank, it's only because maybe I'm looking for a fresh vegetable or something because I don't have it. Bread is always nice, right? And, you know, the few cans that I would get from the food bank, I would just add to what I already have, right? Now, I know I have more. I really like this stuff, people, and it lasts forever. Just remember that. I have another box. Do you see that? Guess what's in that box? More meat. That's the beefs, I'm pretty sure, and corned beef. So anyway, hold on.
I'm not working.
Well, just look for it.
No, now look.
Notice how quiet it is, people. Just want to make a mental note of this, people, because at some point I'm going to come back and talk on the video. It says French for beginners. That's a cassette deck with books. Yeah?
I think that's
Okay, you're showing an interest in dinosaurs now, eh? That's a what?
Huh?
What is that?
A T-Rex.
A T-Rex. Are you sure about that? Yeah, maybe it is.
Sometimes they can call
Yeah, I
it.
think you're right. Okay, what are you doing here?
Trying
Where are you going?
Down.
You're going into Earth now. This is a different CD. The last one was Solar System.
Okay, let me go outside. People, you can't wait to see this.
Oh, what's that?
You don't know?
No, you tell me. It's an underwater. What is it?
It takes you somewhere. It takes you where you're going. Hey, wait, I think I went on the wrong one.
These CDs, people, are like so old.
I don't want to go there. I was going somewhere else. Come on.
1999, 2000.
Where am I? Okay, back.
My kids walk in and they see Andre on the computer and they, oh, I played that.
Okay, this is the one I want to go. There, that's where.
Where are you going?
That way. Where the lava is down there.
The lava is down there
Yeah, you want to see?
in the mid-ocean ridge.
Seatbelts, everyone.
That's in the mid-ocean ridge.
Wait.
Oh my.
Can't wait, people.
At my old school, we
Oh my god!
accepted
That was like a pancake. Ta-da!
Ta-da! You remembered.
so far down that it's entering the part of the earth called the mantle.
The lava?
Mantle. You're going into the mantle.
The edge of the plate changes.
And that's the lava.
That's the lava.
And do you know where it will take you?
But
No.
how do we get out of
What?
here?
Well, we won't just go with the flow. That would take us millions of years to get out of here. So, come on, bus, do your stuff.
Back. And do you know where else I will go?
Mm-mm.
Do you know where I will transform to, people? Hold on. Now, transform to airplane.
Oh wow, it sure did.
Back to school bus. That was 6. Back to school bus.
No, it said Wahoo.
Wahoo. Where am I going? Hey, where am I going? This doesn't look like the good place I want to go. Okay, well, let me go in the bus.
You're in a cavern.
Welcome. Do you feel like helping
No.
Arnold?
I don't want to do that. I want to go to the volcano.
You want to go to the volcano?
Volcano, come on.
Oh,
There's a volcano.
there it is. It's a real one, too.
You can't wait, people. I'm going to go inside the lava.
You're going to go inside the lava?
Yeah, inside.
Oh,
That looks dangerous, eh?
yes, it does.
What?
It looks dangerous.
This is such a cool-looking mountain. It should...
Eruption time.
Wait,
Back
for
to the
this.
bus class. 2 by 2,
It will
please.
shoot out lava rocks. See that? That means it's lava coming.
It's getting ready to erupt.
No, it's already erupting.
Oh, it's already erupting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you put me... It sure is.
See? Wait.
Yeah, and here's your book. Might as well get the book out, too. Make some room
really
here.
cool. Wanda, that lava is melted rock, so it's
Here.
actually really
See if
hot.
you can find it in the book.
I think I have it in the book somewhere. Have it.
We need more light. I'll get you some more light. Hold on.
People, I went in the lava. Do you know how I can get out?
No.
Darn it. I lost my thing. Shit. Get out of here. I forgot to press the bus.
Welcome.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Well, why don't you get out now? There we go.
All right, find it in the book.
Lava's really cool.
Oh, I saw a shooting rock.
A shooting rock, eh?
Yep.
So it's actually
Sorry, people. That's some kind of thing.
That's a hurricane.
Okay, and that's another hurricane.
No, that's not.
What is that? This turn.
That's probably an eruption coming. Look, there's the mountain. Look, there's the bottom of it.
This was a city, but it wasn't now. It's ruined.
Yeah, because the lava covered it over.
These-
That's what happens. That's what happens when this happens. When the lava comes, everything
Look,
gets...
see what happened?
Yeah.
And look. The lightning's going down, all the way down.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about the whole book. Okay, hold on. Just hold on. Now you can tell.
Okay, people, these animals, a long time.
How many years ago you just said it to me?
1 million.
1 million. Okay, 1 million years
years
ago.
They died with the volcano.
Yeah, with the volcano, eh?
Yeah, I heard there might be another one. Oh, wow.
Love my books, people.
Why do people have to get big towers? Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back.
Yeah. Okay, people. It's recording. Okay, people. So the lightning hit the ground, and it was like
Try
lava.
and focus.
Wanna hold it?
No, I'm letting you do it.
Okay. The lightning fell on the ground, and it really just, and I thought it was lava.
But it's not lava.
Yeah,
That was
but
some
it was like lava.
Here, lightning surges through the body of a tree. Oh, hold on. You gotta focus what you're looking at here. Okay, we'll just read this. Lightning surges through the body of a tree while a thunderstorm, there it is, rages. Frequent targets of lightning, trees, can put people standing beneath them right in the line of fire. So when there's lightning outside, you don't go and hide under a tree. You got to stay awake because the tree is the conductor, right? The briefly energized lightning channel, 4 times the temperature of the sun's surface and 20 times the pressure of the surrounding air, can vaporize and explode trees and other objects that resist its awesome
Yeah,
current.
and we have a volcano.
This isn't current. It's just energy.
And people, and I think we have a volcano somewhere. And
We do. We actually do.
Yeah, we have a
We have
volcano
one
here.
just across the border
Yeah.
in Oregon, Mount St. Helens.
yeah, and it might explode soon.
Well, it did in the past. And the Rocky Mountains
Wow.
are kind of like volcanoes, but they're sleeping. We'll be back.
Okay, people, I'm back. And this is, I found a volcano. This volcano been here from, I think, 1 million years. And explode. And that what happened. The lava, you see the lava going? It keeps going. And it might lead all the way to the end. Okay? This is a volcano,
Hold on.
people.
Now you can do it. It's on.
Okay, this is a volcano, and that's a volcano we saw on the filter.
And what is that stuff?
Huh?
What is that stuff coming out?
Lava.
Lava. That's right.
And the lava's going down. And there's the big explosion
Yeah.
by the house.
Yeah. Cinder cones.
Circles.
Yeah. Those are cinder cones.
And that's a volcano. All the way over there on the ocean. That's,
And you know what volcanoes do? They make land because when they come up and they shoot out the lava pours down and then it builds up and it makes land.
And
That's
like
how we
that.
make land. That's how the planet
okay,
makes...
now, you can go talk now.
Okay. Okay, people. This is classic. Okay, I don't know what kind of video this is. I just know that I'm still on the subject of Andre's homeschooling. When I cut off, because somebody came in, that was yesterday, right? And you know, I'm still kind of just, you know, just trying to get my energy ready to go back outside and get into bricklaying and get into the garage and finish Andre's shed, and, you know, and weed and just whatever. I have to repair the pump in the pond, and because the raccoons got in there and stepped on the little chute thing that spouts out water and it broke off, so I have to replace that. And so besides that point, I'm doing this like this just to show you that... Are you listening to me? What are you doing? Andre,
What?
what are you doing?
My chair froze up.
Your computer froze up.
Yeah.
Hold on, people. Okay, if you notice, it says Mount St. Helens. We were just talking about that. Andre found it in the book.
And I found these.
Uh-huh. And this is just across the border in the United States, not too far from us. So if Mount St. Helens blows and puts ash into the air, the ash can come as far as where we live, right? So...
But it didn't explode yet. And
it didn't. I think 1986. I think it was 1986 off the top of my head. I can't remember.
I think it was 1 million years
Oh, wait
ago.
a minute. Mount St. Helens picture postcard tranquility ended abruptly on March 20th, 1980. However, when a series of small earthquakes began shaking the volcano, on March 27th, an explosion ripped open a new crater in the summit ice cap. So even though there's ice caps, even though there's snow and there's ice in there, underneath, inside, deep where you go with the school bus, is lava. And then in 1980, in March, on the 27th day, it exploded.
Oh my god. And you should talk about these ones.
Well, that's Mount St. Helens. That's what it looked like before and after. What's the next page?
Wait. No,
This is another country.
No.
This is another country. We'll have to get the map out.
Wait, what's that?
Yellowstone. That's in the United States too. Hold on, people. Anyway. So here's the deal. This little phone call to social services, you know, people, it's yes, we got the GMOers. As a matter of fact, when the social worker was here yesterday, she confirmed that, because she came last time, right? She confirmed that it was like, she got like 20 phone calls, not 20. She got She got 3 phone calls in like 2 days or something like that, with less than a week. I think it was within 2 or 3 days. She got 3 phone calls. And that's the GMOers. That's like calling up the city and calling up my landlord to try and get me evicted from his house. But besides that point, there are people in the neighborhood that like watch my house. It's even confirmed on GMOI that there's someone watching my house that lives in the neighborhood to see how often I'm outside doing whatever. Because this situation with my grandson, the porch was just the excuse, really. Or the stairs. It was the stairs. And like, I'm leaning, to be honest with you people, I'm really leaning towards my neighbors next door. The guy next door has like 3 cameras set up on the property, and he's just a renter. That's all. He rents the main floor of the house. He's already gotten 1 tenant evicted, and the tenant before him moved out simply because he couldn't stand the noise that was coming upstairs with the kids bouncing around and just being whatever. Not that it's any of my business, because it's not. Hold on a minute, people. Okay, well, and then we've got these neighbors over here, the ones that teach their kids how to be racist and hang over the fence and tell Andre that they don't like him, right? And they're never allowed to leave behind the fence. They're always forced to play in the back. And then we've got the neighbors over there down the road that, whatever reason, seem to think that they live in Grey Point and that somehow, you know, they own the neighborhood, and personally don't like me for whatever reason because I wanted to open up a second stage living recovery house with the house that came available after the wolf pack moved out. Right? So because of that incident, I got to really see who that person's was really about, in terms of when people smile up in your face but are actually, you know, plotting behind your back, right? And because for some reason, like I said, they seem to think that, you know, their position in life is more superior than the one next to them in terms of the neighbor. Outside of that, people, there's not too many other people that really stalk me in this neighborhood that I'm aware of. Andre, can you turn that down just a little bit, please? So what I'm trying to say is, when these social workers came, I mean, obviously I let them know that I don't videotape out of respect.
Love you now.
I love you too, right?
I found more dinosaurs.
Yes, Andre is starting to show an interest in dinosaurs. This is amazing. These dinosaurs have been kicking around the house for how many years? Never showed an interest. Now, I'm talking, that's not a dinosaur, that's a giraffe. But yes, you did find another dinosaur. Hold on, people. What did you find? Guess what Nana has, though? Nana has a whole lot more of these things.
And look what else I have, a T-Rex.
Yeah, well, now that you're showing... Oh, here, okay, go away. Okay, now that he's showing an interest in this stuff, like, seriously, this just popped out of nowhere. I have a lot of dinosaur books, people. I have... Oh, yes, I do.
Do you have another volcano book?
No, dinosaur books. I have lots of dinosaur books. I have dinosaur things that like are interactive with the hand, and I have the dinosaur figurines that are downstairs in the garage in the box, right? So, and you know, volcanoes and dinosaurs, they kind of go together. So now that he's actually showing an interest with these figurines, running around the house with them, I guess I'm going to have to pull this stuff out and make it more into a home. Okay, we're still into the homeschooling here, people. I have never really talked about it in the past, for the simple fact is because I know people troll my YouTube channel, right? And I know that people are looking for any kind of an excuse to call the social workers in, right? And just with this last batch that came through, just in terms of what they were really interested in, outside of this so-called rail that only had 2 screws in it, right? And that was the call that warranted them to come to my house. But it also has to do with the homeschooling aspect of it, right? Because, you know, it's not the norm. It's not the norm, first of all, right? And for some reason, you know, people are being conditioned to think that the only way a child can learn is through, and I wouldn't call it a traditional sense, but in an institutional manner when it comes to a public school system, whether, or a private school system, that is the traditional sense how society perceives education, right? In terms of that's the only situation a child can learn under effectively. But when you look at the statistics and you look at geographical areas, or, you pluck an example here, you pluck an example there, which I'm going to pluck one right now and draw attention to Debbie Duncan's handwritten letter to her mother, her only one in handwritten letter to her mother on her birthday, right? And realize that student was, started out in the private school system, Catholic, and was there for several years, and then went into the public school system, but writes at a rudimentary grade 1, grade 2 level, 3, on in average. Okay, maybe grade 5.
Or maybe grade 6.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that there's a lot of kids falling through the cracks, people, in terms of their education. My middle daughter can verify that. She went into she went back into school, and she has a high IQ. By the time she was at her last, she only did I think she did 11 and 12 there when she went back in. And by the time she was in 12, she was helping the teacher to grade or correct their English assignments as the students were handing them in. And she said that 80% of the students didn't pass their assignments in terms of writing skills. 80 or 60%. I'd have to verify that. That's at a grade 12 level. And with this texting going on, with everybody, relying on cell phones now to communicate and to practice their English skills or language skills, the language itself is being watered down to dumb down the population, people. Well, what can I say? If you have a large population that's dumbed down and then guided through social engineering to be dependent on the government to sustain itself as a population because they're dumbed down, right? On top of having restrictions put on them so they stay dumbed down. In other words, if you're on welfare, you can't start a business, which keeps you dumbed down because you don't learn, right? Then and it's being done through, whether it's the private school system or whether it's through the public school system, right? Then, what is the chance of, out of 100 kids, 100 kids are going to make it if on the low ball, 60% of those kids can't even write a paragraph at the age of 19. Andre's only 6, going on 7.
And I'm going to be 8.
No, you're going to be 7. You got to be 7 for a whole year before you're 8. Okay? And, he kind of came in at the back of the track, considering what happened to him, right? Which put him behind, at no fault of his own, okay, in terms of what happened, which I'm not going to get into details at this point. Go on. This is a great toy. Okay.
It's kind of broken.
That's okay. Things get broken. Just don't break it anymore. Don't interrupt.
I'm going to try to move it through the hall.
So, anyway, people don't, I'm going to just keep working on this, okay, in terms of just, because first of all, I have a website, and if you go onto my website, you'll see homeschooling. There's a link there. I don't know if there's an active page open because I never have time to sit down and do any kind of HTML and make web pages. I really don't. I've been asking around town on the internet for people to help me, but I guess because I don't have $50,000 to slap down immediately to get the help that I need in terms of building up the website, you know, it is what it is. But the point is, people, is that there is a link for homeschooling, and through that homeschooling site, if and when I have time, I have several books that I have at home that I'm going to be putting online for sale, homeschool books, some of them new, some of them used, or whatever, and, you know, just kind of build up that webpage in general to you know, to give support to families and children and youth, right, that are, you know, accessing the homeschooling experience. Okay? Now, I'm not doing it to promote religion. I'm not doing it to promote anti-government institutionalized public school systems in terms of how some people say, oh, well, it's just the pipeline to prison. You know, well, for many it is just the pipeline for prison. And, you know, depending on your circumstances in terms of your neighborhood, the income level, how people perceive you as a race or as an individual, just you know, just the whole 9 yards, which at some point I do plan on bringing in some charts, which I'll just handwrite. Bringing in the whiteboard board is good, but I remembered somebody said that if I do this stuff on a whiteboard board, I should really be doing it on big pieces of paper, so that if and when I ever need to go back and make a reference as I'm talking about the subject, it's already written. So that's what I'm going to do, I think, over the next year, just because I don't appreciate having to defend my Canadian right, as a guardian to my grandson, any more as I would be to a parent to my children who have all homeschooled at one point or another. Right? Just because one or two or three of my neighbors, you know, don't like me personally, because they're probably sitting up here watching my YouTube videos. Right? And if they're not watching my YouTube videos, they're in their houses talking about me because they've got nothing else better to do in their own damn day. Right? And, because they sit and talk about me, that somehow gives them the right to try and dictate how I should live my life with my family. And because this guy next door wants to send his kids on a bus at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, I think it starts at 7:30, this bus comes and picks up these kids, 8 o'clock by the latest anyway, and the bus doesn't drop them off. This is 3 children, people. And the bus doesn't drop them off until like about 4:30. So they're gone from 8 o'clock in the morning until 4:30 at night. How many hours is that? That's like an 8.5-hour day. While Dad sits up in his house watching his camera to see who's creeping his yard all day long because he's got nothing better else to do because now he's retired on disability. Right? Trying to catch the freaks as he's getting the people downstairs evicted from his house, or they just want to move out. Right? Because, you know, he can't even control his own family, never mind trying to be a busybody and get involved in somebody else's family, because more than likely they want to move over from that house into this house. Right? As the landlord in that place over there is telling my landlord that they need to kick me out because he's going to get better tenants. Who's he going to get? The guy upstairs? Move in here? People are shady people, right? And so, you know, what I'm trying to say is, like, whose business is it if Andre is doing homeschooling? If you want to send your kids on a bus and have them out of house for 8.5 hours a day so that they can go to a French school and learn how to speak and read and write French on top of English, and that's your only method for them to learn French, right? And it makes you somehow think that you're such a better parent or guardian because they're gone for 8.5 hours a day getting a quality education, when in fact we know that quality education has a lot of holes in it when you really, you know, look at, you know, the private private school in terms of, like I said, Debbie Duncan and the way she writes, obviously whatever she was learning didn't sink in, right? If you go into the high schools and you really look at it for what the teachers are up against with these cell phones distracting these kids now that aren't teaching them proper writing skills, and then the teacher says, I want some proper writing skills, the kids just don't know how, and they're handing in this mixed match, whatever, where a student that actually does have a good handle on it can realize that 60 to 80% of that grade 12 class is failing in the English language. And then those are the people that are telling me that my grandson shouldn't be at home because he needs to go into the mainstream and keep up with the kids, be learning what those kids are learning. When you take it into a more broader sense and you go into these geographical areas where poor kids are en masse being funneled through the public school system to prop up the unions, because that's basically what it's about, people. That's what Uncle John taught me. He gave me the opportunity to see what the union actually does to the public. Now, the union is either going to be honorable or it's going to be corrupt. Now I'm getting mad because I shouldn't have to defend my grandson to have the time for his mind to grow and develop and to gain confidence and critical thinking skills at his own pace without being forced into a public institution. It's an institution, people, with a lot of dysfunctional kids in there that can't read or write at any grade, and then expect Andre to fit in and get with that format and get a quality education when the system itself is stressed out. I told the social workers, I want him going into the system already reading, already having, basics on the math, because once that happens, then he'll be fine. He will be fine. But if he goes into the system and tries to learn the language there, it's not going to work, people, because I'm an experienced mom. I've seen it with my kids. Okay? And unfortunately, Andre struggles with retaining memory in terms of the language because he probably is dyslexic to some degree, and his language skills were interrupted through the process of what MCFD did. Not because of what we did, it's because of what they did. And when I got him back, right, he was having severe tantrums, crossing his arms all the time, saying no, argues all the time, still to this day, not as bad as it has been, or was, well, not has been, but was, right? Because he's getting older now, I can communicate more with him more, right? Doesn't like boundaries, but he's learning to accept them. So by the time he goes to school, he'll respect the teacher, people. He'll respect boundaries. If I send him in now, he's just going to bounce off the walls and he's not going to absorb anything outside of being manipulated by a bunch of bratty fucking kids that are sitting up in their houses over the fence, hanging over, saying, now you're in school. Now I can really tease you. And then the teacher saying, sit down and do that. You have to do that because if you don't do that, you're not going to meet our expectations. Not because we want you to do it. It's because the provincial government needs those numbers to justify that dollar funding. That when you look at it from a school board's perspective, and I've got the legit, what is it called, budget for Surrey. I can't remember if it's 2002, 2001, 2003, but I have the budget for Surrey for the school board that clearly shows that out of $340 million budget, $320 million goes into wages. And the other $20 million goes into capital costs. What does that tell you, people? As old people are disappearing through the healthcare system for their money. So, if those people want to ship their kids off and forget their problem and think that those kids are going to grow up sane and rounded and productive and highly educated because they were in a school for 8.5 hours a day when they weren't on a bus. And they secretly want this house when in fact they can go build their own damn greenhouse if they wanted to bad enough since they plan on living next door for God knows how long. Right? Same is true for those ones over there. Same is true for those ones over there. I mean, what? What's so wrong with Andre learning about trees? What's so wrong with Andre learning how to actually plant potatoes and dig them up? What's so wrong with Andre learning about just everything in general when it comes to this yard, people? What's so wrong with Andre watering the plants in the summertime at 10 o'clock at night with his Nana having a blast? What's so wrong with his uncle encouraging him to do the work and stay focused and practice makes perfect? And you can do it. So that by the time after that gets reinforced in his brain and he does go to school, he already has it in him so that when the teacher asks for the assignment to be done and handed in, he's already been taught how to do that through his uncle at home. So chances are, if he's comfortable with the English language and comfortable with his skills and his ability to do things in a timely manner at his pace, by the time he does go to school, he'll be at the first of the line with the work handed in. Because he's practicing that at home. Even if it's on a small level, because he's not at the standard, whatever that standard is, okay, in terms of the public school system, because we couldn't afford to put him in private, right? Doesn't mean he's not going to catch up and win the race, right? My goal is for him to win the race. My goal is not to have him isolated into a resource room labeled as a problematic kid because he can't sit still and focus on directions that he's incapable of remembering for whatever reason in the manner that they want him to remember. And then that just compounds and piles up. And then the next solution is, because he's in the public school system, right, and he's a high-risk kid, then they're asking you to put him on drugs. And if you refuse, then they say they can't go to school there. I've already had it happen to me with my daughter, people. All right? As I'm being told that it's so-called changed right now, but I don't think so. I don't think so. First of all, the public school system doesn't get enough resources to do what it really needs to do. Okay, teachers are stressed out, they're they're understaffed, they're overworked, right? Oftentimes underpaid, right? And that's why we have portables. Because the government puts only $20 million into capital costs, while the rest of the $320 million just goes to sustain that workforce. And that workforce doesn't get paid unless those kids are in school. So if Andre's home, that's less money for the school. But is that the best interest for Andre is to be in school right now because my neighbor over here is bored with his own life and has got to sit up there and watch his camera all day to see what the hell I'm doing in my own damn yard. So he can phone up social services, file a complaint that Andre's outside with me learning stamina, right? Learning to finish the job so that when he's older and he's on a contract, if he decides to do any kind of outside work, because people have different jobs throughout their life. They just don't wake up and choose one job and that's what they work at for the rest of his life. He might be a construction worker. We don't know. And if he's out there working, just trust me, people. When he gets out there and if they're on a contract and the boss says, hey, we're here till dark, Andre won't complain. He'll work till dark. Because he was out in the yard with his grandma, his Nana, right? Working on the pond till dark. We were watering the plants till dark because they needed water, otherwise they would die. Right? Neighbors see that, they think it's child abuse. But you know what? Their children couldn't do it, even if their life depended on them. And the chances of them being successful throughout their now these white kids are white, so there's obviously some kind of a white privilege going on in here, because this guy, I'm telling you, he's just like serious. I went over there today, I called him on it. I said, look, I really think you're calling social services on me. You've done it before, and I think you've done it again. I'm calling security. I'm done with this. There's a camera here. Come on, I'll take you to the back and I'll show you where the cameras are. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm not the one that's freaking paranoid here. You are. You sit in your house all day long, looking at your camera, waiting for something to jump and complain about. Because you got nothing else better in your fucking day. Because for some reason, because you were an airport gas tank filler-upper, it seems to make you think that you're so much better than everybody else in this freaking neighborhood, even though you rent a moldy house. That house next door, people, was a grow-up prior to those people moving in. You go into the basement, you open the door to get into the 2 separate suites with the garage, and it hits you like a freaking ton of bricks. And that's because the house was a grow-up at some point. You don't think he doesn't want to get out of there if he can get me kicked out and his landlord can buddy up with my landlord? So anyway, I am going to continue doing homeschooling with Andre. And as you can see, he's showing an interest in dinosaurs now. So we're going to build on the volcano theme. We're going to build on the planet theme. I've got maps and we're just going to walk you through it because we're just going to walk you through it. You know, there's nothing I can do about Uncle John stuff right now. If they want to throw it out of court, people, I'll just file another one saying that they discriminated against my family. They use poverty as an excuse to do it, and they're being very negligent as a public protector in terms of the justice system. So, and I've got to make zucchini relish, and the tomatoes are still on the vine. So far it seems okay. And if for some reason I get a lot of green tomatoes, well, guess what I'm going to make? Green tomato relish. That sounds good now, doesn't it? Let's go see what he's doing, and then I'm going to upload this video. And we'll just carry on as business as usual.
Trying to make rocks.
Okay, making rocks?
Yeah.
Oh.
To make galena, mix lead and sulfur.
I don't know.
This is science.
Yeah.
Do you see this right here? Do you see that? That's the periodic table. Say periodic table.
No, I'm trying to focus on this.
You're trying to focus.
Yeah.
Oh.
Halite is salt.
Salt.
Mix 1 sodium and 1 chlorine.
The salt right there.
Yeah, we have salt.
Made halite. With
Halite.
salt.
You make halite with salt. Ooh.
To make potassium feldspar or orthoclase, mix potassium, aluminum, 3 silica, and 2 oxygens.
I think I have one.
You just made potassium feldspar. It's also called orthoclase. To make pyrite or fool's gold, mix 1
I
iron
think it's pyrite.
and 2 sulfur.
Fool's gold. I got fool's gold.
Cream. You just made pyrite.
Okay, Nana's got a rock collection. Do you want me to find it?
Today?
Well, I'll start looking today.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because I have fool's gold. I do.
To make
I think we have quartz
mix
too.
silica and 2 oxygens.
We have quartz.
Right?
I'm pretty sure we have a quartz.
Wow. You just made quartz.
Hey, that's quartz.
Quartz.
That looks like quartz.
Yeah, sulfur.
Sulfur is just a pure
Ooh,
element sulfur.
that stinks.
Which is written as S.
Sulfur stinks.
Sulfur is just a pure element sulfur.
Yeah.
Which is written as S.
Wait, where is that sulfur? Oh, I'm going to write you. I'm going to...
Where are you putting it?
What's this? Squish him up. He's going in the oven.
It's going in the oven. Oh my. What happens?
He will get dead.
Oh.
He squished it up.
Oh my God.
To
Calcite.
make a calcite, mix calcium, carbon, and 2 oxygens.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Excellent. You just made calcite.
Calcite.
Wait. If y'all want to X out, you press that.
Ah.
Wait, I have something else.
Okay, hurry up. This is a long video.
This is going to be so cool.
This is pretty cool.
I
Eh?
can show you some really interesting
Okay.
things in this.
Okay.
Erosion is what happens when wind, water, or ice changes what the earth looks like. Rivers and streams.
Okay, bye. Wait.
Well, you have to finish and listen. Don't be so quick to click the boxes.
Wait.
Oh, you want to show me
Welcome
this?
to the rock transformer.
Oh, you knew where that
Put
was,
stuff into
eh?
the rock transformer and
Oh,
see what
that-
kind
that-
of rock
that-
it's
that
made
one
out
counts.
of. Or you can put a rock in and see what it makes. This rock is
Oh,
untransformable.
darn it.
Sorry.
Soft coal. Oh, do soft coal. Right there,
Yeah.
that one, yeah.
This rock is untransformable.
Oh, can't try. Okay,
Sorry.
try that one.
This rock is untransformable.
Oh, wow. Slate?
Sorry.
Oh, slate goes. What happens to slate?
You can make that.
We love
Is used to
Mrs.
make
Frizzle's
chalkboards.
Frizzle, eh? Oh, slate makes chalkboards. Oh, that's interesting to know.
Boy, do you know what else I will make?
Chalkboards are made from slate.
Wow, I didn't know that. So this chalkboard over here, people, is made from slate.
What else is in here? What's that?
But you can paint chalk on for a chalkboard, so they can take it and
This
even
rock
make a
is
paint.
untransformable.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
This rock is
Okay. How did salt get made? From what?
You want to see?
Yeah.
Salt is actually a rock called halite.
Halite?
Highlight. Yeah. That's what salt is. It's actual rock.
This rock is
okay, now-
untransformable.
Okay, and Nana's going to go look
Sorry.
for her rock collection.